All right, back here at Michigan under our first and only caution. It's Paul Menard, Brad Keselowski, Trevor Bayne, Joey Logano, and Ryan Truex, your top five. Let's show you the race off. Remember we told you the angle can be deceiving? There goes Menard, and there's Brad.
The call was right. He is second. All he really lost was lane choice.
4 wave-arounds. Carl Long, Eric McClure, Mike Wallace, and Michael McDowell. And that means now we have a total of 20 cars still on the lead lap. As they come down, Brad Keselowski selects the inside lane. He's got a clutch issue. I'm sorry, Menard had the choice, and he goes to the high side. Let me correct myself there. I'm so used to having Brad out front all day long. He's led 60 laps. And we're back to green flag racing here at Michigan.
Yeah, see how this works out for Menard. I know why he chose that to try to get this run off of turn 2, but Brad Keselowski got a great run down into the corner.
Joey Logano going to try the high side, going 3 wide. There's the 99 sliding up. Trevor Bayne's got Leffler on the outside. Here goes Menard. He gets a little help from behind, and we're freight training down the backstretch.
Right here's where that draft comes into play. And you see Logano now taking kind of a slingshot move into 3.
Can he hold the car down?
He can hold it, but Menard's going to have the momentum off the corner, just like he did off turn 2.
Carl Edwards into the mix as well. Keselowski inside, now pulling in behind Carl.
Well, got to be careful bump drafting through this part of the racetrack.
Yeah, and that caution was also a huge break for Carl Edwards, who had gotten way behind also, but has a very fast car.
Harvick is trying to move his way up. Keep an eye on the 33.
Oh, 3 wide.
Here we go. Menard doesn't know what he's missing behind him. Logano thinks better of it, falls in. Now there is Harvick. You can see where he is in this mix. As right now he is shown in the 10th position. Remember, he was in like 18th. Menard's got his mirrors full now of Carl Edwards. Edwards takes a peek to the inside. Here comes Keselowski.
Well, this is where draft really, this has always been a case at Michigan, but even more so with these new cars.
On
Carl Edwards able to push Menard on by there and take that second spot away too.
Joey Logano side by side with the 99 of Trevor Bayne. A little bit further back is Jason Leffler. Coming into the mix also Reed Sorensen there in the yellow 32, and there is Kevin Harvick up to the 8th. And of course, as we look at the 22 and the 60 side by side, we would be remiss if we didn't remind everybody they have a bit of history and are both on probation right now and giving each other plenty of room.
I like the teamwork you're seeing right here with the 2 Roush cars with Menard and Edwards working together and using this draft to stay ahead of Keselowski.
Brad slides back into the 3rd spot, and from high above, there's Trevor Bayne taking a peek underneath. Can he make it and clear him? Doesn't look like it. Side by side with Joey down the backstretch.
You can see Keselowski trying this one more time down to the inside, where he had both of them together there. He may be able to slide up in front of Carl Edwards. That's what he's going to try to do, but I don't think he got enough of a run that time.
It's like I said earlier, Paul Menard was running lap times as fast as Keselowski, even though he was 7 or 10 seconds behind. And now he's able to get out front and really use that fast car.
Well, and this is the first time Paul's ever led here in the Nationwide Series at Michigan in his 5th start here at the 2-mile oval. 67 starts since his one and only win back in Milwaukee, June of 2006. Maybe today's the day. Uh-oh, whoa, problems for Jason Leffler down the backstretch. He is slowing. We heard just the tail end of the radio. Could you catch it? I missed it.
No, but it has to look like sometimes engine problems. Carl's taking a look to the outside, trying to make that work. Vance.
Yeah, guys saying that Leffler came on the radio and he said, man, this has been a good car, but we just blew up. No oil pressure at all for the for the 38, the Great Clips Toyota. Jason Leffler bringing it in. Disappointing. They were running in the top 5 throughout the course of the early race.
This will be his 7th DNF of the season. It has not been the kind of year that team has wanted. Meanwhile, out on the backstretch, look at the top 3. This is a great battle going on.
It's almost like Keselowski's not going to be able to make this pass without some help. Right as I say that, looks like he's going to make it here.
After an 11-second lead, I don't think anybody's going to want to help him.
No, they're not going to, especially these two Fords. They're not going to want to help him with that Dodge.
Yeah, and he's going, as you said, he's going to have a difficult time there. What he's going to have to do is get himself in position where Carl's away from the 98 just a little bit, and he can slide up in between. Then he might be able to make that happen. But trying to make a run to where he can get by both of them is going to be very difficult.
Well, and of course, don't forget, Paul Menard is going to go to Richard Childress Racing next year, so he'll be over into a Chevrolet camp running in Sprint Cup. Looking a little bit further back, the fastest car on the track right now, Justin Allgaier.
Yeah, we were just talking about Keselowski needs some help. He's going to have all the help he wants here in a minute with this group of cars catching him.
Yeah, you see right up in front of him's a guy that I'm looking at, though. That's Kevin Harvick. He's got this groove up on the top of the racetrack. He is coming right now, guys.
Harvick is up to 6th position. He was running 21st after the pass-through penalty. And look at this battle up front, running nose to tail, a pair of Fords and a Dodge Challenger. And it's real easy to tell them apart.
See, now Keselowski's still trying to make that move on the bottom.
Back on board with Brad.
No, what more I can do there, Paul. Sorry about that. 10-4, man. It's not your fault. I don't know. Just aren't getting this problem fixed that we've talked about now for a few weeks. It's frustrating. Hey, we got a good car here. We're going to still win this thing. I won't let that set us back. 4 copy.
With Paul Wolf now as they go by the front straightaway. Paul, is the clutch, how bad is it? And will it only affect him on your final pit stop?
Well, I didn't hear exactly what you said, but we've got a little issue with the clutch here, and obviously it hurt us on this last pit stop. So, it's kind of what we've got. So, we just make the best of it, and we've got a good car. It's just now you see the draft with these cars is so big compared to the old car, and they're just able to stay. We can't get clear of them because they can draft back up. So. We'll keep working on it, and we'll see what we got at the end.
Help the non-mechanic in me. Is it only a problem on the final pit stop or something that can hurt it on the track, too?
No, it's just going to be a pit stop. We're good on the track, so we just got to do the best we can in the pits here and keep it up front.
And it's obviously still very fast, Marty.
And while you're talking to him, this has just been great watches. Look at this. Menard all of a sudden slides back, and here you got Carl Edwards now taking over the race lead. We've now had 7 lead changes between 6 guys, and we're down to 49 laps to go, and here comes Harvick.
ESPN's coverage of Major League Baseball continues tomorrow night with a battle of NL East rivals from Citi Field. Raul Ibanez and the Phillies take on David Wright and the New York Mets on ESPN's Sunday Night Baseball at 8 Eastern. Game also available on ESPN3.com. We're having a real slugfest here at Michigan International Speedway with 44 laps to go. The race for the lead, Carl Edwards in 60, Brad Keselowski in 22. The second race for NASCAR's next generation car. After a somewhat spread out first run, a set of pit stops, and things have been hot and heavy up front, Rusty.
They have been great up front. I mean, you see Carl Edwards and Brad Keselowski just got the cars running good, but there are a lot of have and have-nots out there, guys. We've only had one caution flag to speak of, and there's a lot of cars out there needing big-time adjustments. You got to remember, this is a first time in competition for this new car at this particular track, and they are dying for some pit stops and make some more adjustments.
And while Keselowski tries to find a way around Carl Edwards and back into the lead, remember, he's been the dominant driver in this race so far, though had a clutch problem on his only pit stop, on the last pit stop, I should say, one of 2 during the race. Kevin Harvick had a pit stop problem, and boy, is he on the charge, back up to 3rd spot and closing on the leaders.
I'll tell you what, Kevin Harvick is flat flying around this racetrack. Since the start, he's back up 12 positions. He's done a great job of battling, getting himself back into position to give himself a chance.
Now, a couple guys that have been factors to win about every race they've been in for the last few years. The Joe Gibbs Racing entries, Joey Logano and Kyle Busch. Right now, Logano's running in 6th, and Kyle Busch is running behind him in 8th.
I mean, they're not out to lunch or anything. Let's not get ridiculous, but yeah, we're used to seeing these 2 guys whenever they show up and close that window net, leading a lot of laps and dominating. They're kind of back a little bit today, not exactly running up front, but they're working their way there. I think the last 20 laps, we'll see some stuff happen.
This 4 wide. I think we said earlier if we saw a 4 wide, we were going to stand up. Watch your head when you do, Brad. Now, one guy who won't be around to be part of what we hope is a great finish to this event was running 5th at the time of his troubles. Jason Leffler's with Vince.
That's right. He was very strong in the 38 today, running top 5 all day. But ultimately, Jason, what sent you to the side?
Yeah, I don't know. Something in the motor. I think it might have broken a cam or something, but it's a shame. Greg Clipp's old Navy car was really strong all day. And I've had 0 motor failures for 3 years, and I've had about 4 or 5 this year. So as many as these things are, that we break, you think I'd know what broke inside, but I don't know. Something different every time. It's getting pretty frustrating, especially when you have a good car like that.
Marty?
While you're talking with Jason, the battle up front has really gotten interesting again. You saw that for a moment at least. The 22 of Brad Keselowski, there he goes again, sticks his nose in front of the 60 of Carl Edwards, and then a little bit further behind, take a look at Menard and Bain. That is for 4th on the track, guys. So pick your poison. We got action everywhere.
Sure do. I tell you, Brad Keselowski's been very impressive, but Carl's giving him everything that he can handle right now. I really thought that Brad might just go up and kind of, blow him away and move on, but that hasn't been the case.
The way it started out, the race did, he took off. Brad Keselowski just took off and hid. And then after that just a little hiccup on pit road, he lost that lead, and it took him this long to get it back.
I think what we're seeing, too, these guys getting used to these cars, what they can and can't do with them. They're learning all about it, learning to use the draft even more at a place like this. That maybe in the past with the older car, they didn't have those opportunities.
That was Kenny Wallace going another lap down. He is now shown in 32nd position. It's Keselowski and Edwards up front with 40 to go.